Muslims to get out and vote. CBS 11's Natalie Tisdale is live in Irving with more now. Natalie?
120,000 Muslims live in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, but it's estimated that fewer than 30% are actually registered to vote. Today, the beginning of a campaign to get Muslim Americans politically involved. They gather and pray in a place known for strength, Texas Stadium. But what these Muslim and Arab Americans want is to strengthen their political voice.
We feel that we have large numbers in this metroplex, and we want to convert these numbers into votes.
Many Muslim Americans feel that they are trying to exercise their civic rights amid fear following September 11th. The political issues the Muslim community wants addressed include discrimination, harassment, issues related to recent terrorism.
We are one of the major contributors for a clean and healthy society, and we want to be treated as an equal. We want to enjoy all our civil rights that is being guaranteed by the Constitution.
Politicians here say they are willing to support the issues raised by the Muslim community.
Whether it's a religion popular or unpopular, we've got to support it. You know, I think this country was based on diversity, and I think we should continue. You know, it's one of those things where we talk about if we give up liberty up for at the expense of freedom, then we don't have liberty or freedom. So.
Quite a few politicians here today, mostly Democrats and mostly candidates running for local offices. However, Governor Rick Perry and Democratic candidate Tony Sanchez did send letters in support of today's rally. And on one other note, this is the first known rally of its kind in the United States. However, more Muslim communities are expected to follow suit. Reporting live in Irving at Texas Stadium, Natalie Tisdale, CBS 11.
Elected president of the Southern Baptist Convention spent this Sunday defending that remark. CBS 11's Natalie Tisdale now has more from Plano.
Pastor Jack Graham is taking the reins of the Southern Baptist Convention during a difficult time for our country. The pastor that made the comments against the Muslim faith was from Florida. Graham says that while he will not condemn those comments, when you take a stand, there will be controversy.
Dr. Jack Graham comes home to his own church, where members of his congregation congratulate him as the new leader of the Southern Baptist Convention. But he takes on the new post amid controversy.
You cannot preach Christianity or, by insulting, another religion.
Azhar Azeez is the president of the Council on American Islamic Relations. He takes issue with a comment made by a Florida pastor at last week's Southern Baptist Convention in St. Louis. The Reverend Jerry Vines said, Islam is not just as good as Christianity. Islam was founded by Muhammad, a demon-possessed pedophile who had 12 wives, his last one a 9-year-old girl. He went on to say that Jehovah is not going to turn you into a terrorist that'll try to bomb people and take the lives of thousands and thousands of people.
This comment is just coming out of ignorance and maybe to, get some cheap publicity.
I would say to Muslim people that we love you, and it's our prayer that in this time of controversy that we've had, and in this world, the critical nature of our world, that it will be a time to examine our faith, discover what we truly believe, and live that life.
Pastor Graham adds that the enemy is Satan, not any other religion. On another note, what, if anything, is being done among Southern Baptists to protect children from abuse, as we have seen in the Catholic Church? More on that tonight at 10 o'clock. In Plano, Natalie Tisdale, CBS 11.
McQuestion is a presentation of KERA 2. McQuestion, talking about things that matter with people who care.
Prior to 9/11, the biggest act of terrorism this country witnessed was the Oklahoma bombing. But nobody blames the person who was involved in it, nor his race, nor religion. We see the bombings of abortion clinics on a daily basis. What is very surprising is that nobody even mentioned these kind of actions as an act of terrorism. We believe that good and bad people are in all faiths, and bad apples are there in every religion. Why is it that always the religion of Islam and its beliefs and practices are dragged into any kind of violence, that the religion of Islam is always dragged whenever a crime is committed by a person who happened to belong to that religion, whereas the criteria and the conditions are totally different for a person who belongs to a different religion or faith?
Good question. Thank you very much. Who would like to take that? Buck, you go first, and then Ron.
The difficulty in this area, and it is fraught with peril, is that those that are committing the acts are doing so in the name of that religion. They're doing so, I think, in blasphemy of that religion.
Ron?
Well, we get into a problem there because when it's announced here that we are going to go there and do something about it, and we call it a crusade, the message they receive over there that it's very much religion turned back at them. And
until 1953, the world Muslim population was only 300 million. Today, the world Muslim population is 1.2 billion. Only 20% of the Muslim population lives in Arab world. The rest of the population lives in countries like India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Malaysia, and Indonesia. If you look at India, there are 150 million Muslims that live over there. In our own country, United States, the Muslim population is around 6 to 7 million. According to some national magazines, they say that Islam is the fastest growing religion in this country, and the Muslim population is the fastest growing population in this country. My question to you is, what do you think are the reasons or the factors for this tremendous growth of Muslims in this country?
Well, I strongly disagree with what the lady has just said. There is definitely a strong, anti-Muslim racism in Russia. I wanted to bring to your attention a quick comparison between East Timor and Chechnya. When a rebellion took place in East Timor, the Western world and the United Nations put tremendous pressure on Indonesia, and the issue was resolved, in a very short period of time. My question is, why aren't the same thing is being done with the people of Chechnya? Why aren't the United Nations and United States putting pressure on Russia, where Russia is violating all the international laws, making the biggest human right abuse by torturing innocent civilians? My question to the panel is, do you see a peaceful resolution in the near future? Your comments, please.
Religious leaders in North Texas are urging restraint when it comes to U.S. action against Iraq. And while many believe a military strike against Saddam Hussein might be inevitable, as CBS 11's Cliff Caldwell reports, some still hope their voices are heard.
Saddam Hussein has few supporters in the world community, but North Texan Muslims say we must still show restraint on attacking Saddam. The gathering of mostly Muslims were joined by Christians of various faiths.
We urge restraint.
Charles Hunter of the Presbyterian Church.
Instead of warmongering, imagine what a concerted U.S. aid program would mean.
Bill McElvaney, a retired United Methodist minister.
We should let the United Nations inspectors to go to Iraq.
Opposition to the president's plan to attack Iraq appears to be growing. However, there appear to be few answers on how to quickly contain Saddam Hussein and any threat he may pose.
And some North Texas Muslims are planning a similar rally at Dallas City Hall on Monday.
We do agree that he is a war criminal. He has committed heinous crimes and he has committed atrocities on his own people. That is very true. But it really cannot prove the point that we have to go and bombard, innocent civilians just because of the actions of this, brutal ruler of that place.
The group urges using diplomacy instead.
This is one of the most spiritual times for Muslims. Ramadan, a time when Muslims fast between sunrise and sunset every day to renew the discipline of their faith. The Muslims I talked to at the Islamic Association of Carrollton were pleased to hear the United Nations Security Council resolution to force Saddam Hussein and Iraq to disarm weapons of mass destruction. Muslims are concerned that the resolution could lead to war if Saddam Hussein doesn't comply.
CIA is a very capable organization, and they can get rid of Saddam without going for a war.
Muslim Americans say they are concerned about what will happen to the Iraqi people.
Their followers to stop the looting and anarchy in the streets of their country. Those calls were echoed here in North Texas as local Muslims prayed for peace. Channel 8's Marianne Razouk reports.
Allahu Akbar.